I'm starting to see these articles come out about scientists in CERN-like laboratories all across the world that are saying that we are on the verge, on the cusp, on the breaking point of discovering a fifth element, a secret element, a God particle. And what does that mean? Well, it means that they're practicing esotericism. They're practicing the occult. It's not science. It's science falsely so called. And I'll explain it to you. All right, guys, go ahead and smite that like button. All your dreams will come true. That's a joke. Third Adam 4 is now available on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and watch that. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Please go ahead and do so. We've been just told to ask for you to do that. So check it now. See if you're subscribed. And go ahead and... go ahead and do so, and we appreciate that very much. I'm going to go to the Bible real quick. The word science is found twice in the King James Bible, Daniel 1:4, and it talks about how they were cunning in knowledge and understanding of science, and it also warns about in the end times, 1 Timothy 6:20, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So there's going to be a rise of something that is considered science, but it is, as the Bible declares it to be, a science falsely so called, meaning that it's pretending to be science, but it really is not. It's a spiritism, and that's what they're talking about. So I want to go to this article here from the Daily Mail, and it says, a new force of nature. Scientists close in on a fifth force as they discover a mysterious subatomic particle disobeying the laws of physics. Physicists observed this peculiar wobble of a subatomic particle called a muon. Modern understanding of physics may be missing an unknown particle or force. Do y'all see that right there? For you folks who have watched Third Adam 4, does that ring any bells for you? It should. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's the occult power. That particle or force, that is the power of the occult. You mark my words, that's exactly what that is. And new findings replicate earlier results from 2021, but 4 times the data. Scientists are closing in on an identifiable new force of nature after observing the peculiar wobble of a subatomic particle. The experts whizzed tiny muons, which are similar to electrons, through a 50-foot diameter ring at the U.S. Energy Department's Fermilab in Batavia, Illinois. Measurements of the muon's magnetic wobble can be explained by the standard model. Can't be explained by the standard model of particle physics, potentially hinting at some unknown fifth force. Folks, that is what the ancients called alchemy. That is the fifth force. And let me just explain this to you. What alchemy was the idea that there's 4 basic elements. You got earth, wind, air, and water. Does any of that sound? There was like a band that was named that. Earth, air, wind, water, okay? That's magic. When you see people give those 4 elements, that is magic. And what they believed is that woven throughout all of these 4 basic elements was a secret, spiritual in nature, fifth element. And that if you could kind of concoct these in a certain way, these 4 elements, or maybe even do processes, you could extract that fifth element from that. And then once you harness that fifth element, you could control all the 4 elements, really. So you could do anything you want. You could live forever. You could have health. You could have wealth. It was the essential element. They called it the quintessential element, or the quintessence, or it was even called the ether or the aether. And it was magic. It was esoteric. It was witchcraft is what it was. And these scientists today are doing the exact same stuff. They're talking about it being an unknown fifth force. Now, do y'all remember that old movie, The Fifth Element? It was a Bruce Willis movie. And it came out years ago, and it was pretty popular for a long time, and it was all, here was the poster for it, and you got Bruce Willis, you got Mila Jovovich, and a few other folks in there, and basically they had to stop an impending doom upon the universe. And in order to do that, they had to get all these 4 stones: earth, wind, air, fire, and they had to put all these stones at these 4 corners of this magical display, and then he held her in his arms and he said, "I love you." And the love that he had for her was the fifth element that awoke all elements, and that was the spiritual stuff. And some weapon went off and stopped this giant meteor from destroying the universe. It's a pretty interesting movie, but that in a sense was an alchemical and magical movie. It was about magic, and the scientists today are doing the exact same thing. They're doing the exact same thing. This is science, falsely so called. This is magic. The U.S. government is funding the research of occultism and using your tax dollars to do so because it was used at the U.S. Energy Department's lab there. So does that give you the warm fuzzies to know that your government is practicing the occult? Does that give you warm fuzzies to know that? It should. The CIA and all these, the government, spiritual wickedness in high places. Does that sound familiar, Ephesians 6, for anybody? That's exactly what they're doing. It says, because muons form naturally when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere, these results could change how we believe the universe works. Basically, you're going to break into the third realm, and no longer are you bound by the laws of gravity and the laws of other, physicality. You can step into a spiritual dimension now, if we can understand this secret, hidden fifth element. The findings support earlier findings from 2021 include more than quadruple the amount of data analyzed, strengthening the claim for what they call new physics. Yikes, buddy. And this article goes on and on and on. And guys, I don't want to rehash everything that's in Third Adam 4, but this type of stuff right here is what we would call the third realm. And basically, in the third realm, and if you want to know more about this, just go watch Third Adam 4. It's available on our channel. You can go check that out right now. And just please go take the time to watch this. It's a 4-hour film, and please go watch this stuff. But what you have is you have three realms. You have the physical realm, the sub-physical realm, and then you have the metaphysical realm. Well, what's going to happen is one day these scientists they're seeking right now to go from sub-physical into metaphysics. That's what they're doing. All of this science, all this technology, all of this at some point has to make a jump into esotericism. And they already are. These astronomers and all these other people are talking about how the Kabbalistic Jews already knew all this stuff, and that science today is just trying to catch up with the Kabbalah. And all this stuff gets really complicated and really weird. And by the way, if you notice anything, I want to point this out to you. Have you ever heard of something called ether? Ether is that fifth element that they're talking about. That's what the medieval alchemists called it. They called it the ether or the quintessence. You know that there's a cord. If you plug that cord into the back of your computer and it connects you to the internet, what is that cord called? That cord is called get this, Ethernet cable. Ethernet. That's just a coincidence, isn't it? Maybe it is. I don't know. But that's what they're doing, guys. All of this is science, falsely so-called. It is all designed to bring us to a higher dimension, a higher plane, and bring us into a metaphysical powers and develop all that. And that's what they're trying to do at these places, and it's all government funded. And let me just play this segment for you for just a second here.
Advances. That they're going to have to make the leap one day from the sub-physical into the metaphysical. And I think we're seeing people trying to break into the third realm today.
CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is once again making headlines for their recent discoveries that could potentially change everything we know about the universe.
Ultimately, what they're doing is something called quantum physics, which is a metaphysical concept.
Now, the concept, the caption at the bottom says, quantum physics is a modern version of metaphysics, born from the Kabbalah, and is essentially alchemy and the occult. I stand by that statement. Absolutely, I do.
Actually trying to break into the third realm under the illusion and under the guise of advancing technology. I want to give you a Bible story. There was a time in the life.
So, and that goes on and on and on. Take the time, please, to go watch Third Adam 4. It'll change your life. This is exactly what we're talking about. The fifth force of nature, the unknown particle or force. These people are slowly using tax dollars, are slowly coming to an understanding of metaphysics. They're calling it quantum physics, but it's metaphysics. It is the occult. It is alchemy. It is science, as the Bible calls it. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse number 10. 6 verse 20. It is what the Bible calls science, falsely so called. God bless you, friend. Take the time, please. Go watch Third Adam 4. It'll change your life. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to talk about this a lot more in the days to come. God bless you, friend. Have a good day.